All praise to the Most High, YAHAYAH, and to his son, YAHAYAH, Messiah, YAHAYAH. This is Brother Holly here with the first Spirit of Truth broadcast here on the YAHAYAH House channel, as well as the House of YAHAYAH channel on this set-apart Sabbath day. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to the great I am, he who is, was, and is to come, the Almighty One, YAHAYAH. And to his son, YAHAYAH, Messiah, who gave himself for us that we might have life, and that life is in him, YAHAYAH. Now, in this first broadcast, children, we're going to continue with the theme of the apocryphal books and their place being preceptable, for lack of a better term, in the both Old and New Testament. This is a theme to show the value of the apocryphal books. They give great understanding and illumination to some of the things written in the Gospels, and we're going, as we go through this, you'll see what I'm talking about. Some of the things written in the Gospels and a great deal of what's written in the Pauline epistles. The apocryphal books will give needed, in my opinion, illumination to this. And we're going to go over a central theme found in the Old Testament as well as the apocryphal books. Something that's brought out in 2nd Ezra. We have support for it in the book of Jubilees. So now the apocryphal books are not only being preceptable within the canonized scripture, but they're being precept amongst themselves. All praises. We'll be reading from the book of Jubilees, English Hebrew version, special edition. And we'll be reading from His Word, Hebrew Yashraelite Scriptures, 400 Years of Slavery. And why I chose these two references, children, is that they're easy to read, and my other references are falling apart. I couldn't be in a better place nor to need a book of scriptures that is not only more reliable and from a context perspective, but just in one piece. So we're getting so close, children, to beginning working on this next project. Pretty much by the first of the next year, most high willing, that I live, his son Terry, and the earth remain. And as he continues to give me license to do this, I will begin in the upcoming month of January on scribing the work, for lack of a better term, the word of Yahweh to the 12 tribes scattered precept version. We need it, children. I need it. For I have all these precepts. When I'm reading the scriptures now, I keep hearing the precepts for everything I'm reading, and I have gained so much understanding. Just like it says in the Psalms, in Psalms 119, through thy precepts I get understanding. All praises. So as we open up the book from a precept standpoint, it is my prayer and hope that you too will receive a love of the truth and receive knowledge of the truth from the scriptures in a new and living way. All praises. Let's go. Book of Jubilees, if you have it, turn to chapter 15 of the book of Jubilees. And what we're bringing out today, children, is how the Most High has a chosen people. And some of the things the Most High has said he would do just for his chosen people. That's pretty much a theme for the entire day. It's going to say here in the book of Jubilees who he didn't choose and who he did. And what he did for his chosen people that he didn't do for the others. There are some differences. One of the key things that the Most High did for his people is reserve them unto himself. You'll hear it talked about that Yasharahla is is Yahayah's portion. Yasha'Allah is his inheritance. Yasha'Allah is his people. Yasha'Allah this, Yasha'Allah that, as a possession of his chosen possession. It says in some places in the scriptures. And that, but it is a segregation, if you will, and a rejection in totality of all other nations. And you will see it very clearly here in a moment. Let's go. Book of Jubilees, chapter 15. Let's start reading at verse 19. And Yahayah said, surely, nevertheless, Sarah shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I shall establish my covenant with you forever, and for his seed after him. When you highlight. Now here in the book of Jubilees, Yahayah is talking to Abraham, and he's telling him that he's going to establish his covenant with the seed of Isaac forever. I'll read it again. Let's read verse 18, because this is good. Jubilees 15:18. And Abraham said to Yahayah, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And Yahayah said, surely, nevertheless, Sarah shall bear you a son, and she shall call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with you forever, and for his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, also I have heard you, and I shall bless him, and make him fruitful, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 kings, and I will make him a great nation. And you can go to Genesis chapter 17 and find this exact same verbiage. So here in Jubilees 15, you can go to Genesis chapter 17 and precept this and find this exact same verbiage talking about Ishmael. Let's find out what else he's going to say about Ishmael. I'll read verse 20 again. And as for Ishmael, this is Jubilees 15:20. And as for Ishmael, also I have heard you, and I will bless him and make him fruitful, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 kings, and I will make him a great nation. Will you highlight if you got it? Verse 21 is key. But my covenant shall I establish with Isaac. See, Ishmael doesn't have a covenant. Is Ishmael blessed? Yes. Will Ishmael become great and be multiplied? Yes. But just because you're blessed doesn't mean the Most High has a covenant with you. And salvation is based on covenant, not blessing. Wow. I'll read it again. Jubilees chapter 15, verse 21. But my covenant shall I establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear you in these days in the next year. That's Genesis 17:21. That says that. Back here in Jubilees 15:22. And he left off speaking with him, and Yahayah went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according to as Yahayah said unto him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, whom he had bought with money, every male of his house, and circumcised the flesh of the foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house. This is Jubilees chapter 15, verse 24. Now, this sounds very familiar. It is almost verbatim what it says in Genesis chapter 17. And Abraham did accordingly as Yahayah had said unto him, and he took Ishmael his son. This is verse 23, Jubilees 15:23. And all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with money, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those whom he had bought with money from the children of the stranger were circumcised with him. And this statute is for all the generations forever, and there is no circumcision of the days, no omission of one day out of the 8 days. For it is an eternal ordinance appointed and written on the heavenly tablets. That's not found in the book of Genesis. That's why I say that books like the book of Jubilees are so important to our understanding. The book of Jubilees gives you a gives you the backstory. And it always refers to, it often, I should say, refers to what is written on the heavenly tables. The things that are written in these books, and all the books, are written also in heaven. There's a copy of all the sacred scriptures in heaven. Those same sacred scriptures that are in heaven are in earth. These things are written on the heavenly tablets. So this portion that we're reading here in the book of Jubilees is only found in the book of Jubilees. It's not found anywhere else. I'll read it again. Hence the importance of the book of Jubilees. Jubilees 15:25. And this statute is for all the generations forever. And there is no circumcision of the days, and no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for there is an eternal ordinance appointed and written on the heavenly tablets. And every one born who is not circumcised in his flesh on the 8th day, he is not of the children of the covenant which YAHAYAH cut with Abraham. We highlight if you got it. So if you have a male child that's a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that's not circumcised the 8th day, he's outside the covenant. You can't circumcise him. Or we're going to find out. You can't circumcise him early, like the 5th day, or late. I'll read it again. Jubilees 15:26. And everyone born who is not circumcised in his flesh on the 8th day, he is not of the children of the covenant which YAHAYAH cut with Abraham. For he is of the children of the destroyer, or the devil. Will you highlight? Nor is there moreover any sign on him that he is of YAHAYAH, but to be utterly destroyed from the earth, and to be cut off from the earth, for he has broken the covenant of YAHAYAH, our Allahayah. That is Revelation 9, verse 11. Let's read it. These are children of Abedon, or the destroyer. Let's go to Revelation real quick. Revelation 9:11. Oh, praises. Revelation chapter 9, verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abedon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon. So, now we know that these people in Revelation chapter 9 had an angel appointed over them. And this angel, who the Hebrew child who is not circumcised on the 8th day, it belongs to, because he's broken the covenant that Most High made with Abraham. That this is who your spiritual dictator is. This angel of the bottomless pit, according to the book of Jubilees. Now I got on good report. The book of Jubilees, which was found amongst the writings of the Dead Sea Scrolls, was written thousands of years before Revelation. And it talks about the same evil spirit by name. Back to Jubilees. I'll read it again. Jubilees 15:26. And everyone born who is not circumcised in his flesh on the 8th day, he is not of the children of the covenant which YAHAYAH cut with Abraham, for he is of the children of Abedon, or the destroyer. Nor is there moreover any sign on him that he is of YAHAYAH, but to be utterly destroyed from the earth, and to be cut off from the earth, for he has broken the covenant of YAHAYAH. All the angels of the presence, and all the angels of the Holy One, have been so created from the day of their creation. And he regarded the angels, the Quadashia, most high angels, but he sanctified Yasha'Allah to be with him and with his holy angels. Will you highlight this verse 27? Jubilees chapter 15, verse 27. And you command verse 28. This is Jubilees chapter 15, verse 28. And you command the children of Yasha'Allah, and let them observe the sign of this covenant for all their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they shall not be cut off from the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Yasha'Allah. Verse 30 is important. Listen up. Book of Jubilees, chapter 15, verse 30. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau did not call, and Esau, YAHAYAH, did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them. But he chose Yasha'Allah to be his people. Will you highlight? Now the Most High, did he know of Ishmael? Was Ishmael not circumcised? We just read in Jubilees 15, as well as you can read in Genesis 17, that Ishmael and all the house of Abraham was circumcised. And Ishmaelites continue, I believe, even until this day, to circumcise their children. And Esau also was circumcised. But they were neither Esau nor Ishmael were chosen. No, the chosen children in Ishmael's case was his little brother Isaac. And the chosen child in Esau's case was his little brother Jacob. They were chosen. They were given the covenant. Neither Ishmael nor Esau had a covenant. Neither one. I'll read it again. Jubilees 15 verse 30. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, YAHAYAH did not cause to approach him. He said, no, I ain't call you. And he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham. We're going to read Romans in a minute. Because he knew them, but he chose Yasha'Allah to be his people. Now let's turn over to Romans chapter 9. Hold your place in Jubilees 15 if you got it. Now let's precept Jubilees 15 with Romans chapter 9. Because I listened to a presentation earlier today, but someone read this verse and messed it all up. We know what it means now. Romans chapter 9. Let's start reading at verse 6. Romans 9:6. Not as though the word of Allahiyah had taken none effect, for they are not all Yasha'Allah which are of Yasha'Allah. So we know that when the children of Yasha'Allah entered the land, that there were 7 other nations in the land beside them that got kicked out. Most High ran the other nations off for the children of Yasha'Allah's sake, that they may inherit the land. So not everybody that's from Yasha'Allah is of Yasha'Allah. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham. This is the verse that coincides with Jubilees chapter 15. Neither, this is Romans chapter 9 verse 7, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. For in Isaac shall your seed be called. You're not a child of the Most High just because you come from Abraham, just because you've been circumcised. That doesn't make you a child. That doesn't make you chosen. Let's read it in Jubilees and go back to Romans and read some more. Jubilees chapter 15 verse 30. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, YAHAYAH did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham. Are they the children of Abraham? Of course they are. Ishmael is Abraham's firstborn, and Esau is Abraham's grandson. But YAHAYAH did not choose neither one of them, nor their seed. I'll keep reading. And he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Yasha'Allah to be his people. He chose the seed of Jacob to be his people. Let's read it in Romans chapter 9. Romans chapter 9, verse 7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, for in Isaac shall the seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of YAHAYAH. But the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Just because you come from a fleshly lineage of Abraham, just like you can trace yourself back to Abraham, Ishmaelite, Edomite, just because you can do that. Sons and daughters of Keturah. If you don't come through the seed line to Abraham through Isaac and Jacob, you're not the child of promise. You're not a child of the Most High. You're not his people. And we're going to find out from Jubilees why it's so critical in a moment to be his people. And we're going to see in other places where that very point has been brought out. But it says right here in Romans chapter 9 what it says over here in Jubilees 15. And Jubilees was written thousands of years before Romans was ever penned. That's why precepting is so important, child. That's why it must be line upon line, precept on precept. What we knew in our heart to be true, that just because you come from the fleshly seed of Abraham doesn't make you a child of YAHAYAH. That's exactly what the book of Jubilees says. It says it plain. It says it plain he didn't choose Esau. It says it plain he didn't choose Ishmael. It says it plain he didn't choose them. But he chose Yasharahla to be his people. Oh, praises. So that clear of all that argument, all the ambiguity that people try to impose upon Romans chapter 9, cleared up right here. That's why precept is so important. I digress. Verse 31 is the most important verse, I think, in all Jubilees 15. And he sanctified him, speaking of Yasharahla, and gathered him from among all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his, speaking of all people, belong to the Most High. And over all has he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. Will you highlight? Now we go to the book of Enoch, chapter 89, verse 59, and see this. But I don't have my copy of Enoch handy. But you can see where the Most High set evil spirits over these other nations. Now he set them over all nations. We're going to see this in a moment. We're going to read it again, and then we're going to continue to read, and you'll see that he ain't set evil spirits over all nations, but there's only one he left out. But why did he set evil spirits over all these nations? To lead them away from him, not to him. Wow. Most High don't want you, heathen. Says it right here, don't want you. We're going to read in the book of Sirach in a moment, and in 2nd Ezra in a moment. Both apocryphal books. Well, the apocryphal is precept itself. And here's a precept in another apocryphal book in Enoch 89. Wow. I read it again. I read verse 30 and 31 again. This is Jubilees chapter 15, verse 30 and 31. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, YAHAYAH did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham. Romans chapter 9. Because he knew them, but he chose Yasharahla to be his people. And he sanctified him and gathered him from among all the children of men. So we're the sanctified. We're the holy people. We're the saints. To be sanctified or to be a saint means to be sanctified or set apart. He sanctified him, this is Jubilees 15:31, and gathered him from among all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all has he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. That's Enoch 89:59. But over Yasha'Allah, he did not appoint any angel or any spirit. He alone is their judge, and he shall preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and from his spirits and at the hand of them all. And all of his commandments are so that he may preserve them and bless them. Who? The children of Yasha'Allah. All the commandments are to preserve us. All the commandments are to bless us. And that they may be his, and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. Wow. Now we find out a purpose for the commandments. All the commandments so he can preserve us in a place where he can bless us. When we're obedient to the commandments, man, we get the blessing just pour out on us. Wow. I'll read it again. Book of Jubilees, chapter 15, verse 30, 31, and 32. Then we go into Sirach 17. So get your apocryphas out if you haven't got them yet. Jubilees 15th chapter, 30th verse. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, YAHAYAH did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them. But he chose Yasha'Allah to be his people. And he sanctified him, speaking of Yasha'Allah, and gathered him from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many people, and all are his. And over all hath he appointed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. Will you highlight? Now, let's go to book of Ecclesiasticus first, or book of Sirach, chapter 17. Book of Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 17. Now, it made some points there that there was this division of nations, and the Most High appointed spirits over these nations. And we're going to read that in the book of Sirach as well. But we also read in Jubilees 15 that the Most High alone is the judge and king over Yasha'Allah. Book of Sirach, chapter 17. Let's start reading. Let's start reading at verse 15. Book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 15. Their ways are ever before him, and shall not be hid from his eyes. Every man from his youth is given to evil, neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stoning. When do we talk about a stony heart being turned to flesh? Well, that's in the book of Ezekiel. Precept. For in the division, verse 17 is key. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Yasha'Allah is YAHAYAH's portion. See, it says here that he set a ruler over every people. Of all the nations of the planet, he set rulers over them. We know who those rulers are when we read Jubilees. We're to have no king, be they fleshly or spirit. The nations have a spiritual king and a fleshly one. We're to have neither. We're to have neither. YAHAYAH himself is our king. YAHAYAH himself is our father. We're his people. All these other nations, he set wicked spirits over them to lead them astray from him. I'll read it again. I know you don't believe it. I know all you universalists out there who are lost in the sauce hiding. You me brews who tune in week after week. Scoffers and mockers and me brews. Tune in week after week. I know you don't believe it. that if you're not of the children of Yasharahla, there's a wicked spirit leading you the wrong way. There's a ruler was set over you. There's a ruler over the Japanese people, over the German people, over the Jewish people. Oh, it ain't YAHAYAH. Not at all. It's an evil spirit to lead them away from him. That's why ain't no salvation in nothing they say. Wow. Jubilees 15:31 again, and he sanctified him, speaking of Yasharahla, and gathered him from amongst all the children of men. And for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all hath he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. Look at Enoch 89:59 for that precept. But over Yasharahla he did not appoint any angel or any spirit, for he alone is their judge. This is Book of Jubilees, chapter 15, verse 32. But over Yasharahla he did not appoint any angel or any spirit, for he alone is their judge. He shall preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and from his spirits and at the hand of them all. And all of his commandments are so that he might preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. All of the commandments. All the commandments in the Old Testament, New Testament, Apocryphal, all the commandments are to preserve us as his people. To keep the relationship between the children of Yasharahla and their most high power. The I am that I am. Strong. Woo! Wow. Now let's read supporting bit of scripture from 2nd Ezra, and we will be done. All praises. Now, it says here that all people were his, right? It says in Jubilee, all nations he made them all. We consent. We consent to that. That's what the scriptures teach. Everywhere. We all came from Adam, and we're gonna read it from 2nd Ezra here in a moment. Let's read it. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 53. Upon the 6th day, this is 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, or 4th Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 53. Upon the 6th day, you gave commandment unto the earth that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom you made master of all their creatures, of him come we all. It says, of Adam come we all. Over here it says, all people belong to the Most High. Why? He created Adam, and of Adam come we all. And the peoples also whom you have chosen. Not only do all people come from Adam, but a peculiar, special people also come from Adam. The people you've chosen. I'll read it again. This is the 2nd Ezra, or 4th Ezra, in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 53. Upon the 6th day you gave commandment unto the earth that before you it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom you made master of all your creatures. Of him come we all, and the people also whom you have chosen. All this I have spoken before thee, O master, because you made the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come from Adam, you have said that they are nothing. See Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15 through 17 for the precept on the other nations being nothing. But like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them to a drop that falleth from a vessel. As far as the Most High concerned, the other nations outside of Yasharahla is like one drop that falls out of a bucket. If you were carrying a bucket of water, this is the visual I want you to walk with today. If you were carrying a bucket of water and one drop fell out of it, would you stop everything, go back and get that drop, knock the dirt off of it, And with an eyedropper, put it back in the, you just keep it moving. It's just one drop out of a bucket. Who cares over one drop? Nobody. That's how the Most High thinks of the other nations beside the children of YAHAYAH. That's how you think of them. It says it right here. And the precept for 2nd Esdras chapter 6 is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15 through 17. If you're going to throw out 2nd Esdras chapter 6, you're going to have to go throw out all of Isaiah too. I'll read it again. 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 56. As for the other people which also come from Adam, you have said that they are nothing, but are like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falls from a vessel. But now, O master, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing. So now we know by name who the nothing people are. The people that go by the term heathen. Have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we thy people, who is his people? Back to Jubilees 15. Who is the Most High's people? Let's read it. Jubilees chapter 15, verse 32. But over YAHAYAH he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their judge, and he shall preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and of his spirits, and at the hand of them all. And all of his commandments are so that he may preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. So YAHAYAH is his people. Back to 2nd Esdras chapter 6. But now, that's chapter 6, verse 57. But now, O master, behold these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing. Isaiah chapter 40, verses 15 through 17. So you'll know who the nothing people are. Have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we thy people, Jubilees chapter 15, verse 30 and 31. But we thy people, whom thou callest thy firstborn, book of Hosea. Ephraim's my firstborn. Jacob's my firstborn. Thy only begotten and thy fervent lover are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? And how long shall this endure? That's a great question. Not long. I'll answer for you, Ezra. Brother Ezra, not long. We have an understanding that we are in him that is true, and that we are begotten of him that is true. The one true YAHAYAH has sanctified the children of Jacob to be his people. He has rejected in totality all other nations. We alone are his. All praises to the Most High YAHAYAH and to his son, YAHAYAH Messiah. YAHAYAH.